that the country is actually struggling to access goods and services from abroad. Ma-sanctions ari kukonzera kuti even poverty yawandisa, even infrastructure ichakwanisa kudevelopa, and even the health system is deteriorating. So as citizens of Zimbabwe, we are calling for the condemnation of these sanctions that will be imposed on Zimbabwe, because they are bringing negative impacts to the country. If we call off the sanctions right now, everyone can have a better life, and even to they can have better access to health. The target of the sanction is to worsen usually it worsens the situation for the livelihoods of the general public. So even though most of the times we can say the government that is being put on via law, generally the public do not support.
And we get to be sanctioned by the Western countries that even don't know what's happening in our country. And the fact that we're facing sanctions that are being oppressed, that are being designed by the Western and the whites, it affects us as business people. We cannot trade with other countries, and our government, our business officials, they are crying day to day because of these sanctions, and it's a very pity thing that is facing our country. Okay, when it comes to our economy, Zimbabwe as a nation, we cannot even borrow money from other banks. We are oppressed. We can look at our sister country, the FNB and the likes. They cannot even give us loans because they see us as untrustworthy. They see us as a country that oppresses other people's rights. Yet it's just a propaganda that we are shown in the newspaper. So I would like, if you are listening, I would like you to come visit Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is such a beautiful country, and what you see on the media is actually different from what is actually happening in Zimbabwe.
I think sanctions are not good for our country because they affect us economically, socially, and politically. They don't allow our country to grow democratically and to advance and enhance, as in sometimes we might think we have democracy, but because we have sanctions, our leaders are not given enough room to get ideas or to get viewpoints from other people because of those sanctions. Hence, they have this own set of democracy that they have in their heads, and it might not really be the democracy that we need for our country. And also, I think sanctions are affecting us economically because sometimes people want to trade with other European businesses, and other European people want to come here, but because we have sanctions, they're not allowed to come here. And when they do come here to come and trade, they are given very steep stipulations of how they should trade and how they should operate. And other people in Zimbabwe, businessmen and entrepreneurs, they can't go and buy things in other countries because of those sanctions. Because they will be told that you're from Zimbabwe, and so because you're from Zimbabwe, then you can't purchase this, or maybe they might be given a higher price than the normal price. And also socially, we have a lot of people migrating due to the effects of sanctions on our country, meaning that even though we want our country to develop, it won't develop because the people who are experienced in order to implement that development are going out to go and develop other countries, meaning we are going to stay stagnant. There's not going to be technological advancement, there's not going to be social advancement, there's not going to be even cultural advancement, because the people who know the culture, they're leaving the country, right? The people who know the technology and how it's supposed to work, they're leaving the country. For instance, we want to improve our health system, but the doctors that are experienced to implement ideas, right, to enforce changes in the health system, they're leaving the country because there's not enough for them there's not enough room for them to grow. Hence, they go to other countries in order to implement those ideas, whereas they're supposed to implement them here in Zimbabwe.